Oh, love that. Oh, hello. Is it time already? Oh my gosh. It's time. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Student Night Live. Okay, sorry. Okay. I am so glad that you guys are all here. This week, the students are taking over, and we're going to be doing our own little version of Wednesday Night Live. Why are we here, though? Of course, the mission still stays the same. To grow you in community with others and Jesus Christ. Of course, yeah. That's still the same mission, alright? We're gonna have a game. We're gonna have a testimony. And we're gonna have worship for you tonight. For God. But you know what I mean, okay? Anyway, big announcement. On May 15th at 7 o'clock, there's a Mother's Day game night. It's gonna be a huge Kahoot. You're gonna tune in with your family. You will tune in with your family. And to access it, you're gonna go to browncroft.org/family game night. I'm pretty sure that's right. Anyway, it's time for game. Game night, game time, game time, game time. My books are falling over. Yes, it's game time. And if anyone's been watching the MJ documentary, you know they say, "What time is it? It's game time!
What time is it? Game time! Woo!
Who?" Anyway, let's go over to Daniel Wart with the game.
Good evening, Browncroft. How are we doing, guys? I know you guys can't, actually tell me how you're doing, because, you're not here with me in my room, so, if you were, it'd be a little odd. I hope nobody's in my closet. So, welcome to Wednesday Night Youth Group. Hope you all are doing well. I hope y'all are not going too crazy yet with quarantine. It's pretty rough, I know, but it's almost over. It's gonna start getting better, so just hang in there with us, hang in there with us. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Daniel. I'm a senior here at Browncroft Community Church. I've been coming here my entire life. So, if you don't know who I am, if you've been living under a rock, like, come on. So, tonight, Aaron, our wonderful youth leader, has asked me if I'd be kind enough to lead the game. So, I happily obliged him. So, tonight the game is called Left-Handed Picasso. So, Aaron has taken his left hand that God has given him, and he has drawn some doodles for us. So they're a little scraggly. He's right-handed, just for all you that don't know. They're a little scraggly, okay? Your job is gonna be to guess what he's drawing. About 15 seconds. Be the first to guess, put it in the comments. They're watching, they're gonna see who the real winner is. So no cheating, no none of that nonsense. And yeah, so let's get into the game. Be the first to guess the scraggly drawing is 15 seconds. Ready? Here we go. 2 lines. 1. Draw a box. Looks like arms. Sick afro. A wonderful afro. Looks like a mailbox with an afro. I don't know why he's drawing it. Mailbox with an afro. Flaming mailbox. Ah, now I see it. Now I see it. You know, flames make more sense than an afro, actually. Circle. 2 lines. Ooh. Mouth. Kind of looks like a face, a nose, body. Good stick figure. Looks like he's got like a skirt or something on. Or, like twirling in the wind. There's like a garbage can next to him. Oh no. Or what? Oh, deodorant. Oh. That's something probably all y'all should be using, you know. Even though you're at home, you should still use deodorant. Save your family, please. A head, glasses. Kind of looks like one of those sheriff, like guard people. How do you know? He's like got one of the what? The world is playing world. Traveling across the world. World traveler. I don't even know. Tourist. Ah, tourist. Makes sense. You don't want to be traveling now though. Circle. Kind of looks like a TIE fighter from like Star Wars. Death Star. I don't even know. Oh, he deleted it. Kind of looks like a TIE fighter with like a giant or a little like ghost person kind of going flying at him. I don't even know. Looks a little scary. I don't want to mess with that for sure. I mean, Death Star. Oh. Well. Looks like a gerbil to me. Box, big box. Line for box. Squiggly lines. This is an afro. This guy's got an afro, for sure. I don't even know. Kind of looks like a guy in a photo. Taking a picture. It's like, selfie. How you doing, Snapchat? Oh no, circle around his head. Ah, James Games. Y'all remember him from last week. Love you, James. I see, Aaron. That was a wonderful drawing. Kind of looking like a sad Perry the Platypus. Like he's hunched over after he's like retired. He's like slouching on some bushes. Still kind of looks like Perry the Platypus. No, not anymore. No. Kind of looks like, I don't even know. Dinosaur person. Arr. Dinosaur flying in the clouds. I would not have guessed that one. If you guess that, you're pretty good at this if you guess that. A circle. Again, looks like a person with an afro. Aaron loves his afro. I think he wants one. Maybe he's a girl and we should talk to Aaron. He's a girl in afro. I can't even tell with this one. I don't even know, guys. Kind of just looks like a scarecrow. Lying on a bicycle. Unicycle. Sorry. Unicycle. Whoa. Interesting. 2 lines. 3 lines off a triangle. Triangle with box inside the triangle. Triangle with a box inside it with 2 lines coming out of it. Now 3 lines. Throw a circle at the bottom of one of those lines. That looks like a corner. Oh, I think I know what it is. I can say. You guys gotta figure it out yourself now. Yeah, good memories. Jordan Miller. You and your dad, great times, great times. And I always won. I didn't get thrown off last. Just saying. A couple lines and a rectangle with another line. It's supposed to be like upside down. This one's interesting, I can't even tell. I think it's supposed to be upside down though, like this, and then it kind of looks like, you know, someone's like drowning. Pool on the moon, I can kind of see that, you know. Still think it looks better upside down. Try it, you'll see. It's the same, you know. Some lines. More lines. Shirt. The hood. Ooh. Arrow. Oh, I know. This one's pretty easy, guys. You guys should get this. You guys should already have this in the comments. I can hear all you typing as fast as you can. You must win the game. I got it. I know that's how some of you are at home. Some of you are really dedicated. You're just sitting there in front of your computer. Eyes locked, just staring in. I know. I believe that some of you guys are doing that. And I 100% know you guys are doing that. More lines. Kind of looks like a banana. More bananas. I could really go for a banana. That sounds really good right now. A really big banana. Big banana that's been mushed up and now it's bubbly in the peel. Again, it needs to be like upside down. It is a banana split. I could really go for one of those. I mean, I'm just always hungry. Teenage boy life. Oh, another ski line. Oh. Come on, guys. This one's a little easy, I think. Come on, you guys should get this. Type fast, real fast. You guys got it, real fast. Come on. 3, 2, 1, you guys got it, come on. Megalodon, huh? It's a good movie for anyone that saw that. I believe that's the last one. So there is the game for Wednesday nights, everyone. I hope you enjoyed Left-Handed Picasso. I certainly did myself. These are some interesting masterpieces from Aaron himself. He has copyrighted and coined all of these, so if any of y'all try to steal them and sell them on eBay, too late, he's already doing that, so sorry guys. It was worth a shot, but oh well. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, everyone. I hope you all stay safe, you don't go too crazy in quarantine now, and you enjoy the rest of this Wednesday night. Stay safe, everyone. Love you all.
Thanks, Daniel, for that game. You're very talented at drawing. The drawing of the dinosaur on the cloud was amazing. It was out of this world. It was... oh, how do I describe it? It was before its time. Now, we're going to transition into a time of worship with Madeline Couch and Jordan Miller. Prepare your hearts, take a deep breath in. That felt good. All right.
Hey guys, welcome to worship and welcome to a random corner of my bedroom. I tried to make it a little pretty. I don't know. What you guys are not seeing is the random pile of papers that I took off my desk so I could film this. But I'm really excited to worship with you guys, even if we can't do it in person. And a big shout out to Jordan. Thank you so much for helping me with this. I could not do it without you. And both of us get to worship with you guys, even if it's just over your phone or computer or whatever, but we're still really excited. And I guess let's get going.
Lord, I come, I confess, bowing here, I find my rest. Without you, I fall apart. You're the one that guides my heart. And Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. The sin runs deep, your grace is more, and where grace is found is where you are. And where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. And Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. So teach my soul to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. And Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, now I need you. And Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, now I need you. Oh God, now I need you. Oh God, now I need Let the King of my heart be the mountain where I run, the fountain I drink from. Oh, He is my song. Let the King of my heart be the shadow where I never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. You're never gonna let me down. Yes, you are good. You are good. Yes, you are good. You're good. You are good. You're good. Oh, yes, you are
Thank you guys for leading us in worship. Now we're going to move on to the student testimony. What is a testimony? Someone might ask. It's a good question. You're going to hear it a lot when you're a Christian. A testimony is basically when someone tells a story about God's work in their own life. And we are very excited to hear from Anna Couch today. And I suppose she is going to give her testimony. Let's throw it over to her as we listen. Whoop.
Hey y'all, it's Anna, and Erin asked me to share my testimony with you guys, so that's what I'm here to do tonight. So if you don't know me, I'm Anna Couch. I'm a junior, and I go to Brighton High School. And you might have seen me around. I teach Sunday school on Sunday mornings to my 7th graders, who I miss very, very much. And sometimes I lead worship on Wednesday nights at youth group. So you might have seen me there. But some of y'all might know, or you might not know, but I'm actually from Texas, and my whole family is. And when I was about to turn 6, my dad's job required him to move all the way up to New York, which was very, very unfamiliar. And we had always been Christians. My family grew up in the faith, and so did I. And when we came to New York, we were looking for a new church. And the first place that we ended up going was Browncroft, and we loved it, and we have stuck. And so I've been going to Browncroft for what feels like my whole life, since I was 6 years old, which is crazy to think about. So the first time I accepted Jesus into my heart was actually at VBS when I was a 4th grader. And I remember it being the night where they would introduce the idea of becoming a Christian. And I had always regarded myself as a Christian as a kid, and I was like, oh yeah, sure, I want to be a Christian, so yeah. And I accepted Jesus into my heart, and that was that, and it felt really, really great. And I remember going to the sanctuary and seeing my name up on the board it was black and all the names were in white, and I remember seeing my name up there and being like, wow, I feel really special and really, really loved. And that's the first feeling I remember surrounding the introduction to my faith. And I came home from VBS, and I told my parents, and I told my sister, Madeline, and I remember my parents prayed with me, and they were really, really happy, and the whole ordeal was just really, really exciting to me. But it didn't really change anything about my life in the sense that I felt like I had always been a Christian. And so I still went to Sunday school every Sunday, and I still learned all the Bible stories, and it was fun. But as a kid, I was also really, really shy until I got to know people. So church was someplace that I did not feel like I had a lot of friends growing up. And that was honestly really hard for me because if you know me, I'm a very outgoing person in actuality. And as I've gotten older, that's definitely been a part of my personality that's been accentuated. But as a kid, I remember feeling pretty alone at church, except for my girl, Jenny O. Love you. But all of that changed drastically when I went to 7th grade. And we had small group on Sundays with youth group. And so before, I felt like I had really been going through the motions of being a Christian. I went to church on Sundays with my family, but it wasn't something that really defined who I was. Like, the morals of Christianity, and like, I definitely believed in God, and I believed in Jesus, and I loved Jesus, but it wasn't the most central part of who I was as a person. And I'm not even sure that my friends as like an elementary kid knew that I was invested in my faith as much as I wanted to be. And so when I went to 7th grade, on Sunday mornings, we had youth leaders lead us in Bible studies, and that's where I really met my best friends, honestly, to this day. And my leader, Melanie Gibbs, played a very, very instrumental part in who I am as a person, honestly, but because of who I am as a Christian. And so in 7th grade and 8th grade, in those middle school years, my faith was really founded, and I felt like I was so much more invested in learning about God and learning about my faith and what I had believed in for my whole life, but learning the ins and outs of my faith and deepening my personal relationship with Jesus, and that was really instrumental to my faith. And after being a 7th grader, I started going to Flower City Work Camp, which was also a very, very instrumental part in who I was as a Christian and who I am as a Christian. It was the first time where I had been in an environment that was completely surrounded by other Christians who were giving up their spring break and their time of fun to serve others in our community and to be with others who loved God just as much as they did. And it was such a great experience, and I had the time of my life. And I remember the day before Flower City had started, I was like, Mama, I really don't want to go, because I wanted very badly to have my spring break because I thought Flower City wasn't going to be fun, and I was sorely mistaken. And so that was an incredible part of the foundation of my faith, and just really solidifying what I believed in and what I wanted to do as a Christian and as a follower of Jesus in the world around me. And so I started getting really involved in our youth group, and I had the opportunity to become part of our worship team. When Jeremy came to our church, me and my sister were, I believe, the first people that were part of the team, and that was really, really important in how I viewed worship, because before it had been, oh, I'm just singing, and I love to sing, but I had never regarded worship as something as special as it is. And so when I started to lead worship, and that was something I could use my gifts for that God has given me, it was really, really humbling and really incredible to see my perspective about worship change. So I'm going to fast forward a little bit to the spring of last year, actually, a year ago, and I was a 10th grader. And so I think one of the hardest times in my life was the spring of last year. I, as a person, am very, very opposed to change in general. It's something that's really, really hard for me, and it's hard for me to explain why. I've never liked change. When we moved from my old house to my new house, even just in Rochester, I'm going to the same school. I refused to go. I refused to walk in one of the rooms because I didn't like the brick flooring. That's just an example of me having a really hard time with change. But last spring was a season of change in my life, and a lot of it was really, really hard. I had a best friend throughout the entirety of middle school, and a friend group that kind of was built by me and her friendship at school, and me and this girl ended up having a falling out that happened really, really quickly. It felt really quick to me, and nothing dramatic really happened. It was just we grew distant because of a lot of factors, but it was really, really hard for me to lose that friendship that had been really, really, really important to me. And at the same time, my friend group in school was also growing farther and farther and farther apart, and soon it felt like I was all alone at school. And I didn't have a best friend anymore that I'd had since sixth grade. And the friend group that we had been a part of was no longer really a group, and so I felt really alone. Also, at the same time that happened, my sister started dating someone, and that is definitely not a bad thing, and it's a great thing actually for her. It was just, with a new person in someone's life comes a lot of change, and that is very often good change, and it was for her. It was just really hard for me to accept the differences in how me and her our relationship was after that. And just because when someone new comes into someone's life, their life changes, and therefore by association my life changed too. And because of all the change that was happening in my friend group, that was a really, really hard time for me. And also at the same time in the spring, my small group leader, one of my small group leaders, Melanie Gibbs from my middle school years, had started working with my other small group leader, Kelsey, who I also love. She had gotten pregnant and was going to have a baby, which is a great change, but it meant that she was not going to be able to be our small group leader anymore. And as someone who was feeling like I was losing everyone in my life that was important, when I felt like I lost her, even though I didn't lose her, she didn't leave. Like church, she still goes to our church. The relationship is very different when you're not seeing someone in small group every Wednesday and they're not hearing about your life and sharing about their life every single week. It was hard for me to deal with that change too. And then at the same time, in the spring, I learned that our youth pastor, Cody, who I was very, very, very close with, was no longer going to be our youth pastor. And so I felt like my school life was changing, I felt like my church life was changing, and I felt like I was grasping at the life that I had wanted, and my grip was slipping, and I was losing everybody. But what I realized is that when I felt so alone, and I felt like I had lost lots of things that were important to me and lots of people in my life that I had felt like were my rock, I realized that they weren't my rock, but God was. And God did not leave me during that time, and my faith grew leaps and bounds, and I found myself feeling not as alone as I know I would have felt without God in my life. And Jesus is always with you, and he was with me regardless of who had left out of my life and who was still there, Jesus is always still there. And so another thing that really got me through is I realized who God has put in my life. And a huge part of me not feeling alone, other than knowing I had Jesus with me, was my small group and the friends that I had made out of that through our faith, in that shared faith together. And without God and without my faith in Him, I never would have met the people that are my very best friends today. And they did not leave me, and they loved me through that time that I was honestly not doing so well. And I realized that God had put everybody in my life that needed to be in my life during that time to make me feel loved and like they were still there for me. And that was huge. And actually, what's so funny is that even though all the change felt so hard while it was happening, all the change that happened was good because everyone is doing great. So we got an amazing youth leader, Aaron, who I love very, very much, and I'm very, very thankful for. And that doesn't mean I don't miss Cody, but I think Aaron is just the right person for this job at this time, and I'm very, very thankful for him. And also, because Melanie is no longer one of our small group leaders, we have Alyssa, who we love and I love very, very much, and she is engaged to Ben, who I met at NTS. Well, I met him before, but really met at NTS church camp last year. And so I've gotten closer with them, and she is great, and she's been such a great person to have in my life. And without Melanie leaving, I wouldn't have been able to have her in my life and be as close with her as I've been able to be. And so I've realized that God's plan is good, and God has always got my back. And even when it felt like everything was changing and my life felt like it was like nothing was the same and I was having such a hard time with that, God was always in my life. And so one of my favorite verses, actually some of y'all probably know this if you're on the missions trip team, is Isaiah 26:3-4. And so I'm one of the leaders on the student leadership team for the missions trip that was going to happen this summer. And I was asked to pick a memory verse for us for the first month. And it very, very quickly became one of my favorite verses, and it says, "You keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on you because he trusts in you. Trust in the Lord forever, for the Lord God is an everlasting rock." And this verse really speaks to me because when I feel like things are swirling around me and nothing is the same and people are leaving and I feel alone, God is an everlasting rock, and he is my everlasting rock, and I needn't feel alone ever because God is always with me, and he's put incredible, incredible people in my life that are always with me and will always support me. So that's all I have for y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Love y'all. Bye.
Thank you so much, Anna, for sharing with us. That was really great. Now I'm going to send it over to one more student who is going to tell you about small groups. Thank you. I've had a great time hosting tonight, and I hope you'll have me again.
Hey guys, I'm Kelly. I know that being home during this quarantine can kind of be boring and kind of suck and can be very discouraging at times, which is why I'm so thankful for these Wednesday night lives and small group time. Because honestly, a small group is such a great time to just kind of get away and have like a little bit of a change of pace. And you can really just connect with your friends that you can't see in person and connect with the Word and connect with God and just grow in your faith and grow with your friends, which is just honestly the most amazing thing, I think, and one of the things that just really keeps me going during quarantine. So look out for the Zoom links from your leaders and have a great small group.
Bye.